What's up? Yo, my content's for educational purposes only. Can't stress enough for you guys to do your own research. Praise my content. Throw any errors in the comments. None of us have been alive long enough to know all that transpired in the past, and none of us can live long enough to know all there is to learn. This particular video is a message to anybody who has lost a loved one. You know, I decided to do this video because my perception of death as well as life is a bit unique. Allow me to get into it. All right, so first, hold on for a minute. What's up, baby girl? That's it? Okay, just put it in there somewhere. Hit the light so you can see what you're doing. And I'll try to find it tonight. I think I know exactly where it's at, so I have it ready for you in the morning. Okay. All right. Pardon me, that was my daughter. Basically this is what it is. Turn the light on if you need to. Okay, all right. First and foremost, man, I need everybody to understand that we haven't been taught everything. I need everybody to, completely and fully understand that we have not and will not be taught the information that others know that will empower us. And I'm not talking financially. That is not what I'm talking about. See, nowadays everybody's so focused and fixated on financial prowess, material items, and that's cool. But that's not what this video is about. So if that's what you're looking to hear, or if that's all that motivates you, this might not resonate with you. And with that being stated, I'm going to just say the following. If the only kind of wealth you know is financial, that may be the only type of wealth you ever have. And actually, when you dissect, what people is, dying, risking life and limb along with their freedom, sacrificing relationships, friendships, affiliations, etc. for, you would understand. If you know, you know. I done already, outlined House Joint Resolution 192, and the fact that, the money's not backed by anything outside of our birth certificates that were monetized with the Department of Commerce at the time of your birth. So if you don't know, look back through the videos, the birth registration process. Actually, now that I say it, I have to do that video over because it got cut off before it was concluded. So look out for that coming soon. Anyway, if all you know is what you were taught to believe from parents, their parents, and their parents' parents. Understand, the crux of where it comes from. You know, say that to say this. Everything we were taught post slavery, well, from the inception and post, was meant to diminish us and keep us in that diminished state so that they can do, and I'm talking about power, those in power, you understand? To do exactly what it is that they've been doing. So now that I've gotten that out the way, let me explain to y'all my unique view of death and why I view it the way I view it. And you decide for yourself if it makes sense. First of all, I've said this before. Prior to incarnating into these vessels, these bodies, we were all souls. A soul is genderless. A soul don't have to eat, sleep, shit, don't bleed, has no fear. It's actually a light being. Anyway, what I'm about to get into is basically relevant to that. Prior to being, placed in the fetus, we all signed soul contracts where we agreed to do certain things in this lifetime. A lot of us have yet to even approach that. A lot of us are just coming into that knowledge with this video. And for those that have already been privy to it, shout out to y'all. Those who are just becoming, exposed to it has no significance other than you're just now being exposed to it. Don't make those that had prior knowledge of any better. It just means that they knew before you. So what I'm saying is, a lot of us have yet to approach the significance of that statement. A lot of us have yet to ponder on what we're doing here. What is the purpose? What is the reason for us being here at the time we're here with all that's going on? You see what I'm saying? Because when you don't have those types of thoughts and questions, the likelihood of you seeking your life's purpose is kind of shallow. Just like a majority of the world right now. A certain percentage of the world, let me say that. Because I can only speak for what I'm able to readily observe, analyze, etc. But the fact that we have the World Wide Web, I'm able to readily observe a lot. Even places that I have yet to go. So based on what I see, what I observe, and what I analyze, a lot of us are, shallow. A lot of us are, focused on what's placed in front of us to focus our attention on. You know, it's already been exposed to us, by the scholar Phil Valentine. Shout out to him. That your attention is the access point to who you are. So, if they can get you to pay attention to what they place in front of you via the newspaper, via the TV, via the entertainment industry, via the movie industry, then, I can't say, that you won't, but, a lot of us, have yet to approach it. And certain things aren't going to make sense to you if you have no knowledge of it. So I encourage all of y'all to do your research, as I do at the beginning of every video, man. It just behooves you, to continue learning, because they don't teach us in their curriculums, anything beyond what was sanctioned for us to know, in order for, the knowledge that we go to them for, to systematically have us in the conditions that we find ourselves in. And some of us aren't even cognizant of the situation being diminished. Some of us actually feel privileged to be able to live within the confines of the structure that has been laid out for us to follow. Anyway, getting back to it. So, once you're placed into the fetus, when your mother nurtures and carries you to term, and you're born, that is at the time where you have memory of who and what you are or what you were. Problem with that is you can't articulate it. You understand? And the older you get, the less you remember of your prior state of existence, because second by second, minute by minute, hour by hour, you're being programmed by what you see, by what you hear, by what you're taught, so some of us go throughout life and never get to a point whereby we ask the questions, well, what am I here for? What is life all really about? And the way I view it, based off of research that I've done, life is about you remembering who you were, who you are, because some of us are in our 20s, some of us are in our 30s, some of us are in our 40s, on and on. But how old your soul is a completely different, subject matter. Some have hundreds years old souls. Some have thousands years old soul. Some of us, as a soul, have already incarnated multiple times. So the key to that is, if you fail to accomplish your life's purpose for incarnating, odds are you'll have to reincarnate again to evolve on a soul level, to evolve your soul. It's a lot that comes with that, because as you come into consciousness, as you become aware, as you start to remember, as you tackle, your any traumas or cathartic situations that you've held down deep within you, and you go within and visit your shadow side and deal with your demons, conquer your demons, and put them in check, whereby you are in control as opposed to them controlling you. You will begin through other processes as well, spiritual, meditation, yoga, earthing, grounding, there are a lot of ways, eating clean, not eating of flesh, or blood. That's an important part, blood, anyway, through some of those processes, you begin to awaken. The soul begins to awaken. And, it goes from there. There are a lot of different things that happen, but you have to remember that we are at the top of civilization. We are the only beings in creation that have, I'm going to say, the power of free will. 1 second, I got to cut my alarm off. It's going off upstairs. It's loud as hell. 1 second, y'all. All right. Pardon me for the interruption. I would ask you where was I, but we know that can't be answered by you guys. So, let me just start up and it'll come back. Basically, you will begin to remember. Different things will come to your attention that you didn't even recognize or weren't able to acknowledge previous to. And your eyes will begin to work. Your ears will begin to work. You've heard it. Let he who has eyes see. Let he who haveth ears hear. That type of deal. Yeah. A lot of different things that start happening. However, getting back to the point, my interpretation of death, you know, everything in the universe is cyclic. You know, the golden ratio. You know what I'm talking about? So, based off that truth, when you complete a cycle, the completion of a cycle is but the start of another. Translate that into life cycles. When your life cycle is complete, you go into another. In the shell, when the body dies, the soul begins another cycle. Now, there's a lot more extensive information as it relates to incarnation, decarnation, reincarnation, you know, those subject matters. Those are extensive subject matters that are not taught. You know, so basically, getting to the end of it, I don't want to drag this out too long. When someone dies, the soul, which is what is eternal, the essence of who a person was or is, you know, moves on to a different realm. And there are different things that happen. There are, you know, different stages that the soul is tested on based on the way it based upon the way it exhibited, you know, actions, decisions it made, you know, etc. You know, whether it completed the mission in the contract that it either incarnated or reincarnated to accomplish and achieve. And there are a lot of different levels and variations associated with it. However, if one doesn't, you know, there will have to be a reincarnation. You know, if one utilized the free will, that is where I was at. If one utilizes the free will in a poor manner or in an evil manner, you can either reincarnate as a human, different sex, different race, not race, different ethnicity. Or if you just raised hell and just did a lot of evil while you was here, even though your intuition and your higher self, you've gotten the inner nudges to leave this alone, stop doing that, you need to do this, or you need to be doing that, and you ignore it all, you may have to reincarnate as a lower part of the creation, you know, maybe an animal, an animal or anything of a lesser degree. And you may have to work your way back to be able to reincarnate as a human. It's a lot of different stuff, man, that they don't tell us, you know, but, you know, and that goes as far back as the actual creation story. You know, anybody knows of Isis and Asar. You know, right now the son's name escapes, Horus. You know, you know, thousands of years before what you guys call Jesus. You know, we know about, you know, the letter J not being, you know, introduced into the Hebrew language into the 16th century. And it's not pronounced J, it's pronounced Y. Okay? It's extensive information, man. So I'm not going to get, you know, no deeper than where I'm at now because, you know, for me to do that, I would have to do a long video, something I'm not willing to do at this point in time right now because I would have to explain things in detail. And I'm not just going to throw things at you on, you know, extensive levels without filling in the gaps so that way people can fully understand. However, not to mention though, and this is just moving on with the monologue rather. Our ancestors, you see what I'm saying, and I've mentioned this before. Many of us know nothing of our ancestors. All we know is others, you know, other ethnicities, cultures, and or histories, and or his story. So some of this, you know, what I'm about to say may come to a surprise to some of us. However, our ancestors dealt with death from a celebratory position. You understand what I'm saying? A celebratory position, man. It wasn't, you know, not to say that you're not supposed to grieve or, you know, go through something on an emotional level. However, you know, our custom and our ways, and please understand, I'm not telling anybody how to think. What I am saying is that, you know, we all need to honor our foremothers and forefathers. You know, they did certain rituals. They indulged in certain practices, you know, that many of us know nothing about. But, you know, the thing is, man, they don't have to deal, if you've lost a loved one, please understand that they no longer have to deal with the bullshit that we're dealing with on this third dimensional realm. Unless they didn't do what was incumbent upon them to do, what they actually were bound to do, you know, and a lot of that has to do with righteousness, man. Becoming God, little g, if you know, you know, you know. It's about the energies, you know, that you can embody, the frequencies that you can embody, mastery yourself. You may have karmic debt to pay off from a previous lifetime. And that may come in the form of circumstances that we tend to look at as hardships, trials, tribulations, obstacles, setbacks, etc. So, you know, again, you know, especially if your loved one, you know, had, you know, some health issues and they were in pain, they no longer have to experience that. They no longer have to be trapped in this little ass body. You know, and I put emphasis on little. So to bring it all home for the people, man, you know, definitely, feel the emotions. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. Don't try to run from them, but don't let them, you know, dwell. Because anything that sits still for an overextended amount of time becomes, either burdensome, or toxic. It's not beneficial to say the least. So, at the end of the day, man, I would encourage anybody, man, that has lost a loved one, man, to, realize, man, that even if they have to come right back due to not fulfilling the terms of the soul contract that they agreed to prior to reincarnating or incarnating, they don't have to deal with the shit that we dealing with, and they get to start over. They get another chance, depending on how they lived. So all of the wailing and dwelling on it for years and years and years, and I mean it's not healthy. Always remember, man, that your thoughts, your ideas, your sounds, your words, and even music, definitely your actions, they all have they have a vibrational frequency. It's energy. So if your thoughts and all the things that I just depicted can change the molecular structure of water in all healthy adult male or female, along with the earth, are 70% water, give or take, but let's just go with 70. How powerful does that say your thoughts are? So what are you going to allow your attention to be paid into? You got to remember, a lot of the shit that we do and carry on and act out are not of our culture. It belongs to a different ethnic background. Now the question of that is, before I conclude, does this ethnic background, has this ethnic background, or has this ethnic group or ethnic group's background, via their actions and deeds, were they beneficial to us? Were they honorable? Were they dignified? Or were they just evil? Were they just the opposite of the characteristics and the energy signatures that I just laid out? If they were, maybe it's time to change some stuff. That's all I'm saying, But, life continues, man. And if you've lost someone, you're gonna always, feel that loss. You're gonna always, want to be in their presence, or hopefully you don't have a lot of things that you wish you could do over or make right. Hopefully you're blessed with the opportunity to make, amends with anybody that you love that you weren't on good terms with prior to their death. So with that being stated, man, just understand, death doesn't mean that everything's over. It's yet the beginning of something new. And like I said, if this topic of discussion, intrigues you or piques your interest, I urge you to, look into it a little further, you know, and stop allowing others to dictate how you think, how you act, how you perceive things. You were given your own brain and your own mind for a reason. We got to start using it, man, and stop allowing others to, use it for us. They've become quite masterful at it. And a lot of us, in our ignorance, have no knowledge of, what those tactics are. And this is why I share the type of shit that I share on my channel. So, again, with that being said, as is always, it's my hope that the information that I share, dispense, and articulate on my channel can be of some benefit and add some type of value to someone else's life. And with that being stated, man, y'all enjoy yourself. Be safe. And even if you don't have it within you to be good to others, allow me to suggest that you at least be equitable, because we all fragile. I don't give a fuck how big your ego is. I don't give a fuck how much money you got, how many monetary possessions you got. We all, at this point, who have a heartbeat, eat, bleed, sleep, and shit exactly the same. So, humble yourself before life humbles your ass. And like I said, with that, I'm going.